There we go. I'm so sorry I'm late. I thought it was at 2. I beg your pardon.
You're not late. It was at 2. We've got Commissioner's Court going on at a juvenile hearing. We got workshops. So we kind of got, if there's no objection though, we can go ahead and have the hearing, even though it's not quite 2 o'clock yet. Mr. Thomas, you okay with that?
Yes, sir. Your Honor, I'm just, let's see, looking for Ed, my client. Let's see.
He must think it's 2 also.
Okay. Maybe so. But good to see you again, Your Honor. It's been a long time since I was in court, which I guess was like probably not more than a couple years after you became the county judge. So
that's been a long time ago.
I know. And that you got a long track record of service. That's 25 years.
Some people think too long.
Obviously not a majority.
So
yes, sir.
So apparently your client thinks it's 2. Do we need to get off and get back on? Get on, see if he's ready.
Well, I told my client to log on a few minutes before 2. So
okay.
I mean, I anticipate that they'll, in fact, they're there now, Your Honor.
There's a Catherine
Polverari. They're on. That's my client Ed Polverari's wife, and they're on.
Okay, well, she's logging in now.
Yes, sir. I think we're good.
Okay, good.
And I appreciate you taking the time to squeeze us in. I know you've got a lot of county business going on right now, and I appreciate it, Judge.
No problem.
How you doing, Cindy?
I'm good. I'm glad I got called and say, yes, come. And I was just waiting around. So I am glad I am free right now. That'll be good.
Great.
Hey, looks like there they are.
I think my client's only done like 1 or 2 Zoom calls, Judge. So they're working through it.
I see that. I see him. I just don't hear him yet. It says connecting audio. I can
right. Right. And so right, we have Matt Dallas, and then the other witness is Lance Carpenter. And he'll be joining shortly as well.
Okay.
We're all here.
All right. So we're still waiting on Mr. Carpenter.
Yes, sir. I expect him shortly. He was logging on a little bit before 2 as well. And so he should be here momentarily. If there's any delay and you need to have us reconvene, we certainly can, Judge. But,
no, we're good.
Okay.
I needed to step out of that one. Mr. Carpenter.
Yes, sir.
All right, he's connecting the audio also. Okay, looks like everyone's on. All right, court come to order. Cause number 21 CPR 0071. If you're a witness, if you're going to testify, please raise your right hand.
Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're giving today is true and correct, so help you God?
I think everybody's muted.
Okay.
I think they're muted.
Okay. But I see you shake your head up and down. You swear to tell the truth. All right, put your hand down, and Mr. Thomas, you may proceed.
Thank you, Your Honor. Robert Thomas for the applicant, Edward Polverari. Mr. Polverari, can you hear me? Okay. Is it possible for you to unmute yourself so we can hear you?
Yes.
Okay, great. Thank you. So you're Edward Polverari, correct?
Right.
And your son, David, died on April 15th of 2021?
Yes.
And at the time of his death, he was a resident of Chambers County. Is that correct?
Yes.
All right. And he did not have a will, correct?
Yes.
And your son was never married,
Yes.
and he had no children or other descendants,
Correct.
and he had no siblings.
Correct.
And so he was the only child of you and his mother, Kathleen Newman Polverari, correct?
Yes.
And his mother, Kathleen Newman Polverari, died in 1993.
Yes.
So you're his sole surviving parent.
I am.
All right. And have you read everything in the testimony that I prepared for you and previously given you in file with the court?
Yes.
And is it true and correct?
Yes.
That's all I have of Mr. Polverari, Your Honor.
Ms. Price.
I don't have any questions for this witness, Judge.
All right, call your next witness, sir.
Thank you, Your Honor. Mr. Carpenter, good afternoon. How are you doing?
Yes, hello. Good afternoon.
You're Lance Carpenter, correct?
Yes, I am.
All right. And you knew David Polverari?
I knew David Poverori as childhood friends back in, starting in junior high.
Okay. And you are a resident of Orange, Texas, correct?
Yes, sir, I am.
And David died on April 15th this year in Baytown.
He did.
And he was a resident of Chambers County at his death.
Yes.
And because you have known him since you were teenagers, went to school and remained friends up until the time of his death, you're well acquainted with his family history.
I am.
And David did not leave a will, as far as you know, correct?
As far as I know, he did not.
And he was not married.
Not married.
And he had no children.
No children.
And he had no siblings.
Correct.
And his mother, Kathleen Newman Polverari, predeceased him, having died in 1993.
That is correct. He told me about that passing. Yes.
Okay. And you have no interest in this estate, correct?
None at all. None at all. Just a friend of David's.
Okay. Thank you. That's all I have of this witness, Your Honor.
Price.
Mr. Carper, do you remember you and I having a telephone conversation a few weeks ago?
I do. Yes, I do.
And I asked you basically almost the same questions that Mr. Thomas asked you today. Is that correct?
That is correct. Yes, we hit on those same topics.
Right. And did your friend David ever talk about having a will at all?
No, we did not have any of those discussions, a will or otherwise. So no, we did not.
Okay. And do you know, or do you have knowledge whether he ever brought any other children into his home or said, I adopted this child? Are you aware of any of that?
No, I do not believe he's brought any children into his home. He was just kind of a single adult male.
Okay. And there was no other children born to him that you're aware of?
No,
And he was not married at the time of his death, correct?
no, he was not.
And he was never married to your knowledge?
Never married to my knowledge. Over the
Okay.
years, I would have had that opportunity to know that. So no.
And you don't have any interest in this estate, meaning you're not going to inherit from any of this estate. Is that correct?
No, I have no interest whatsoever. I'm not looking to inherit anything. Nope.
All right. That's all I have for this witness. That's all. Judge?
All right, Counselor, call your next witness.
Thank you, Your Honor. This will be the last witness, Mr. Matt Dallas. Hi, Matt. Good afternoon.
Mr. Dallas, you're muted, sir.
Yeah, were you able to?
There he is.
Okay. All right, great. Okay, thank you, Matt. Appreciate you being here.
Yes, sir.
So your name is Matt Dallas, correct?
Yes, sir.
And you were a longtime friend of the decedent David Polverari.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And that's because you met in 1993 through some mutual friends, and you became close friends and remained so up until the decedent's date of death.
Correct.
And were you able to hear the questions that I asked of Mr. Carpenter?
Yes, sir, I was.
And do you agree with his responses? In other words, is that your same testimony?
That is my same testimony. Yes.
And you've had a chance to review the testimony that I sent you in this matter ahead of time?
Yes, sir.
And is everything in there true and correct?
Yes.
Okay, that's all I have, Your Honor.
Thank you, Judge. Mr. Dallas, you and I also had a conversation a few weeks ago, correct?
Yes, ma'am, we did.
And we had the same questions that Mr. Thomas asked you today. Is that
Yes,
correct?
Yes.
And you heard the testimony again of Mr. Carpenter and what you've quoted today, and that is still the same as we talked about 2 weeks ago, correct?
Yes, ma'am, it is.
And you don't have any interest in this estate. You would not inherit from this estate.
No, ma'am.
That's all I have, Judge.
Mr. Thomas.
Okay, thank you, Your Honor. Though that's all the evidence I have, Your Honor, and ask that on behalf of my client that you determine judicially that the decedent's father, Edward Polverari, is the sole heir of the decedent's estate.
Thank you, sir. Ms. Price, you agree to that?
I do agree, Judge. I did sign the order as well, agreeing to that.
Okay. And have y'all agreed to ad litem fee?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And I'm sending your check to you today, Cindy. Thank you for your
Okay.
service.
Thank you.
Okay. All right, with that, I will approve the judgment determining heirship.
Thank you, Your Honor.
With
Thank
that, nothing else come before the court. We're adjourned. Thank you so much.
Thank you,
Thank
Judge.
you.
Bye, Mr.
Thank you.
Thomas.